Welcome. This is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies TV. And today we're going to be talking about Jill and Jack of all trades Thursday and HTML5 and how to nest it. Give you a few tips on how to do some HTML. Awesome. I know. Don't get scared. HTML isn't that hard. So today I wanted to say hi. I'm Jane Gardner, and it's Jill and Jack of All Trades Thursday. On these days, I like to talk about some skills that you can learn quickly to get some control of your own business and make sure that you're not paying too much for someone else to do the work for you that you could do quite simply. So I started off with HTML because I feel that even though it's beautiful to be able to easily put in a post and an image into your website, it's good to have some back-end control of your website as well. And the simplest way to do that is with your HTML and knowing a little bit about it and how to control it. Today what we're going to do is we'll be talking about being a Jack or Jill of all trades. And today it's going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have certain skills, and you can't just let everyone else be doing the skills. You have to have some knowledge of things like cash flow. You have to have some knowledge about how to do a sale and how to sell. You have to have some knowledge about your website because you need to be able to control it and make it yours and not have someone else be the developer all the time of what you want to say, especially. And you want to be able to get out your emails yourself on a regular basis, not always, and make sure you have your subscribers happy. And you have to know some computer technology, whether you like it or not, and so on and so on. So today we're going to talk about HTML nesting. Oh my God, what is HTML nesting? I didn't think it nested. Well, last week we talked about HTML5 and what it's doing for your website. It's basically the foundation of your website. It controls a lot of the, well, you know what it controls. It's mysterious stuff that you don't want to know about, but honestly, it's not that hard. So today we're going to talk about HTML and how you could do a few simple codings once you know the foundation of how to do it. So today we're going to talk about nesting and how the code is set in nests for each tags. I think we went over tags last week, and I'll probably be having a checklist and a cheat sheet with some of the terms which are specific to HTML, so that you're not always wondering why she taught what is a tag when it comes to HTML. That's not the same as a tag when you're doing a tag on your images. No, it's not. So let's have a look at HTML nesting. So I did a recording about HTML nesting, and I hope I'll be able to explain it to you a bit. Obviously, I do have little manuals, etc., on how to use HTML, and I have other trainings on HTML. And certainly today we're only going to learn a little bit about HTML, but it's fairly simple, believe it or not. So let's get this started. Let's see if it's going to work. Come on, video. Let's go. There we go. So nesting of your HTML elements, or they're the tags that you use in your HTML. And basically you always nest tags or pieces of code within other pieces. Now you have your declaration at the top. You have an HTML code which explains that it's HTML. You have your header, you have your body, you have your title, and it all goes into an HTML HTML file. Usually it's called the index.html file, which is the basic file to use for your website. But of course you can create any kind of HTML files. Now, nesting is really quite a simple idea. Basically, you have let's have a look at the simple one. You have your declaration at the top. You have your HTML declaration as well about it being HTML. You have your header, top of your web page. You have a title. It has a closing nest tag, so it's backslash title, whereas the opening is just called title with the carets on either side. And then, of course, for the head section of your website, you have head, and then you have backslash head, which encloses the head section of your website. And then you have your body section of your website, so you use body and then backslash body to close each nest area of the website. And at the very end, you have a backslash HTML tag, which tells the browser and the computer and the programming that you're finished. This is the HTML file, and this is how you're going to enclose it. So we're going to just show you briefly how you can nest tags today. So I've got some text there that I'm going to put into paragraphs, but the doc type HTML is basically is the declaration that it's HTML. And then, of course, you have to have them in a certain order. Then you have the HTML tag, and then the head tag. You can put a title within the head tag, and then enclose it with the backslash head tag, and then the body. And then after that, you have the backslash HTML tag. So when you go into open up an HTML file, which we're going to do right here, that I have working on it. If you have a look at the content that I put in there, it is all in one line. It's not in paragraphs because it hasn't been told by the tags to make those into different paragraphs. So in order to do that, we have to put a P tag at the front of whatever area you want to be a paragraph, and then you put a backslash P at the back of that sentence, and that will tell the computer that it is a sentence and a paragraph, and then there'll be a space. Now, also we're going to try the bold and the italic tag. So for the bold, you have to put a B, obviously, in your carets. And then you have to put a backslash B where you want it not to be bold, where you want the bold to finish, obviously. And so it's called nesting because whatever's within the two tags, the opening tag, the P tag with carets, and then the carets backslash P caret tag, anything within that is included in the paragraph. And then once you get a little fancier, you can add, well, your coding can tell, well, we'll show you that later when we're in a website. But of course, a B is not used anymore. HTML5, they use the strong tag and then the backslash strong tag to do the bolding. So you just put those in at the front and put them in wherever you want it, and then you put it in at the end of wherever you want it bolded as backslash B. And the same for italic. You have to put a caret I caret at the beginning, and then where you want the italicization to finish, it's a backslash I. And you can see the whole sentence has been italicized and the whole sentence has been bolded. Now, the real importance with HTML is that you have it nested in a certain way. So because you have P, B, I, and then I, B, P, it reads it as being a bolded and italicized paragraph. But if you were to put in a B and use it as part of the area, and then B, and then not put them in the right order, then it's not going to read it right. So in order to do, say, a bolded area, you have to have an order of how to do it. So that's what I'm showing you here, is you have to have it bold, but you have to put italicized and then italicized. Even though you want to italicize the whole thing, you have to put the italicization inside of the bold. And then, of course, the bold and the italicized inside of the P. That's called nesting. So it's always done a certain way, because otherwise the programming can't read it correctly. But this is a good thing to know, because if you're finding that when you have written out your blog post and it just won't italicize, or it just won't, title or bold the area that you want it to, that it's a good way to learn how to, excuse me, I finished. It's a good way to control it once you're inside the website and you're finding that one area is not working the way you want it to. You've got in WordPress, for example, you've clicked your paragraph and button, and you've done your paragraph, but it's not doing what you want it to in terms of what the font is, and you set it up. So you go into the HTML and then you have a look at it. And then this way, if you know how there is nesting, what the priority of the nesting is, you can you have more control over your website. You can make it look pretty. But also, of course, you can do other things. So I think next time we'll go and have a look inside a website, in a WordPress website. I'm assuming that most of you have WordPress as for your website. I'm not going to do Drupal or Joomla or any of those other ones. I'm just not interested. I'm talking to those entrepreneurs who want to have blog posts up, and you don't want to pay a web developer to do their blog posts, or a web blogger or whatever. Hire someone to do it, and then they find out, well, look, the image is not in the right place. Move it over. And then it takes another 2 days for the web image assistant to go and do it, when you could have done that yourself within 2 minutes. Well, less than 2 minutes, really, if you do it quickly. Maybe I should just show you next week. I'll make a wonky looking blog post, and then just show you which of the simple HTML codes that you can use, and have a list for you of those so that you can use it for the rest of the time as an entrepreneur. I mean, even though most websites now have WordPress, of course, and as the programming, and it's been updated all the time, and then there's cascading style sheets on top of your HTML. The HTML is the foundation for your website. So at all times, if you go into what they call the text, I don't know why they call it the text, they should have called it the HTML section of your WordPress blog post, you can take control and fix something that doesn't seem to be working right very quickly, which means that you have control over your website, and you can make the images look the size that you want, and you can make the text be the correct text instead of this wonky looking, what is that text that's been put in there because it's somebody didn't pay attention to what they were doing. So I just wanted to mention again that this is called the Jill and Jack of all trades, because I really think that we should all have a little bit of control over all the aspects of our business. I know that you started up as an entrepreneur, and you thought you were just going to be selling your product or service, and meeting with clients and filling in forms, but you need to know a little bit about all the aspects of your business, and it's just important for you to do that. So I hope you'll subscribe over SolopreneurSuccessStrategiesTV.com, or this other way to say it is Jane-Gardner.com /SSS, where we talk about various ways to save time, save money, and be productive in your business. So let's get back to me and say hi. Goodbye. I'll see you next week. I hope that was somewhat useful. It's almost easier just to not do it with video, because the video goes quicker than I can speak. So we'll see you next week. Next week we'll go behind the scenes, and I'll just show you don't have to be frightened about, having this website and having this WordPress and what the heck is this thing doing to me? And why doesn't it look like the way I want it to? And being able to control it a little so that you know what you're doing. I'm not expecting you to know everything, and I don't know everything. I just know a little bit about a lot of things. And that helps when you're an entrepreneur and you have to do a lot of this stuff on your own and you want to do it quicker than someone else that you might hire. So that's always good to know. Yeah. So anyway, we'll do one more on HTML. And then we'll get on to cash flow. And talking about cash flow and making sure that you're in your cash flow. See you next week. Bye.